Unc and Ocho blame Drew Brees for the Saints quarterback troubles with Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people sent this to me. Honestly, I was back and forth on if I was ever going to watch this video because the premise is so insane that I was like, I don't know if I can get there. I don't even know if I could watch it, go through it, but as a man of the people, I shall. So let's go ahead and listen to Unc and Ochocinco and see what they got to say, and they can walk me through this hypothesis.
The Wire, Shuck played 4 drives, gained only 9 net yards in the first 2. Then he went 5 of 6 on his best drive, which ended in a Chris Olave drop leading to a field goal. Spencer Rattler had 5 drives, one of which ended in a field goal after he threw a 49-yard pass interference call on an incompletion of Mason Tipton. Rattler finished 18 of 24, 199 with a touchdown and an interception. I thought both of them made some good throws. I thought Rattler made on a deep 7 route. Ocho, he threw it, basically turned it into a square out because the wide receiver squared it off. Yeah, nice route.
Yeah, Rattler looked good. You know, both had ups and downs. I think that's kind of been pretty consistent this entire preseason. That in both games, both players have had good moments, bad moments.
Right.
I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Spencer Rattler start.
You think they can put Shuck in front of him?
Well, he started, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he started today, didn't he?
Tyler Shuck started the second game.
Didn't Shuck start today, or Rattler started today?
They did it on purpose.
Yes, correct. They did.
If Shuck did start, they did it on purpose. Okay, we let Spencer Rattler start the first game. Shuck, you don't get to go this game, and we'll compare the two.
It's exactly what happened. They gave each basically a full game, and now they're going to look at it and determine who's going to start, which I think will be Spencer Rattler.
And we'll see. Yeah.
All right.
See, it's like my grandma used to have a saying: when 2 things are bad, listen, you got to go with one of them. You got to pick the lesser of the evil. I guess something like that. She used to say all the time.
Yeah, maybe we're paraphrasing.
Neither of the two have shown any signs where it's like, you know what, he clear as day is the better player. He clear as day is the better quarterback with the ball in his hands, making the better decisions to give us a chance to win week in and week out. They don't have someone like that, which is why.
Well, and that's why this competition was so unique. You know, I can't think of another time where you have 2 players with virtually the exact same background, exact same skill set. Everything is pretty much the same age, and it's a true competition. Usually it's okay, one's a journeyman, okay, one's a veteran, okay, one's this, one's that. This was just basically the exact same situation, and that's the competition. And they've kind of played the exact same. So my reasoning for Rattler is that it's kind of safer because he does have those 6 games from last year, and I think his ceiling or his floor is a little bit higher, whereas Shuck, because he is a tried and true rookie, he can be rushed, and it can be ugly quick. You can't rush Rattler out there. You already did that last year, right? He's already survived all that. So that's why I think you play Rattler. If Shuck would have come out here in the last 2 games and just lit it up, yeah, play him. Whatever. If he's ready, play him. I just think at the end of the day, he's not ready. Will he not be ready for 4 weeks, 5 weeks? I don't know. But right now, 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the season, play Rattler. I mean, but yeah, I do agree that it's virtually. I mean, it's as like the same as the same can be. I think if you're just watching the game, though, you can tell that the operation, everything's just a little bit cleaner and smoother with Rattler, which is to be expected. Shuck's a rookie, so
I don't understand. Never mind. I'm not.
I think, and plus, Ocho, I think of the 4 teams that's in that division, clearly they have the worst quarterback play of any team in that division. Tampa. I think Tampa has the best quarterback play.
Probably the best team. The best team.
Clearly.
Tampa's definitely the best team.
Maybe then Atlanta.
And then, you like Bryce Young, or do you like Michael Penix Jr.? But
You know what's crazy about Michael Penix? And I keep saying this, but every time someone, like what Shannon just did, where Shannon's like, I mean, we know Michael Penix is good, basically. Or, hey, he's better than these guys. Have y'all seen Michael Penix's preseason stats? He hadn't played. He hasn't played. We have still, right now, we have only seen 3 games from Michael Penix. 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, 1-2 record, averaged 250 yards passing against the 3 worst passing defenses in the NFL. And I don't know if it's just, I don't know how or why this narrative's happened. I have not heard a single person question if Michael Penix is good. It's been this, where it's like, oh, yeah, Shuck and Rattler are bad. I mean, Penix, Young, one of the flip-flop them two, whatever, 2 and 3. Who's to say, if you want to say that about Bryce Young, because he had some good numbers at the back half of last year, whatever. I don't get the Penix thing. Penix, we have way more tape on Spencer Rattler than Michael Penix, and we are getting close to having the same amount of tape as Tyler Shuck as Michael Penix. So I'm not saying Penix is better or worse than these guys or whatever, but I think the idea that it's just a foregone conclusion that Michael Penix is good, I think it's pretty wild.
No matter where you put them, 2-3, 3-2, whatever the case may be, those quarterbacks are still better than what they possess in New Orleans.
Imagine being like, Michael Penix is the second best quarterback in this division, no doubt about it. Off what?
And that's what New Orleans is up against. I mean, that's what the Saints are up against, is that the quarterback and they're not going to face very many teams in which the opposing team quarterback is worse than theirs. Because when you look at the landscape of the NFL, you tell me who got worse quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. I mean, they're probably right about that. But, I mean, I just off the top of my head, if you just go down the schedule, it's either going to be quarterback plays about the same. Like, who's worse? Justin Fields? Like, who are you comfortably saying the Saints are the better quarterback? Justin Fields might be the only guy I can think of where it's like, oh yeah, no doubt about it. But I mean, even if it's just the same, like Bryce Young, I'm cool with saying the Saints quarterback situation is the same, if not worse, than Bryce Young. I'm cool with saying it's the same as Michael Penix. But flat out, like, really bad quarterback play, I mean, Cam Ward's an unknown, who knows? Drake May, I'm pretty comfortable saying Drake May is either it's the same or Saints are worse. Then there's some really good teams they play, obviously. But, I mean, I think Russell Wilson is better than Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler. I think that's, pretty accepted. So, I probably agree with that, I guess.
Back to what the play is in New Orleans.
But that's right now. Like, you also had to remember, I probably would have said the same thing last year with Washington. I probably would have said, yeah, a lot of these teams have a better quarterback than Jaden Daniels. He's a rookie. I don't know anything about him. And then very quickly you realize, okay, this guy's awesome. Like CJ Stroud, same thing. The Texans' win total was 3.5. 3.5. Think about how bad the Saints are, and the Saints are at 5.5. The Texans were 3.5. CJ Stroud's rookie season. And he was awesome. But you would have went into that saying, yeah, all these teams have a better quarterback than CJ Stroud. With unknown variables like Cam Ward, like Jackson Dart in New York, even though he's not starting, like Tyler Shuck, you absolutely have to have that, like, okay, they could be bad. We don't know. Because you do have your Zach Wilsons, you do have your Trey Lances, you do have Trevor Lawrence, you do have players like that who struggle and aren't good. They just don't reach, they don't reach any kind of apex, and it just is what it is. But you also have to allow for the possibility that they're good or average or above average or even great in the case of Jaden Daniels. I mean, even players like Mac Jones, who aren't good, Mac Jones had a hell of a rookie season. You had people saying, the next Tom Brady's here. Easy.
I don't know.
I don't know. Hey.
Twitter is very truthful. People on Twitter and Instagrams, they tell the truth. And I simply asked a question not too long ago. Saints fans, are you optimistic about the quarterback situation, depending on where they want to go?
Oh, no, they ain't going nowhere with that quarterback.
And they like,
no, you're not going nowhere with no quarterback.
We're going to be trash.
We're
going to be trash. This is their fans.
Yeah, but the same group, I can't remember who. I can't remember who put it out there. It might have been Jono, but it was like a poll of who should be the starting quarterback. And it was like 95% Tyler Shuck, and then he put the same poll out after the last preseason game, and it was like 95% Spencer Rattler. That just is what it is. You know what I mean? That's just how fans rock and roll. But I mean, fans are short for fanatic. Don't forget that. But look, if we're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks into the season and the quarterback room is playing that bad, I will be the first one who says it. I will be the first one that says, okay, this isn't going to work. Just like with Jake Haener I can see it pretty quick. Of course, I'm rooting for Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler, but I'm not going to force it and say, oh, yeah, these guys are Hall of Famers. Oh, yeah, this guy's the next Drew Brees. Oh, yeah, this guy can be this guy can be that. I'll say, yeah, I just don't think he has it because of these reasons. And, okay, then we're on to the next one. It is what it is. But until you see it with any of these guys, I think it's crazy to just say they're ass. They're garbage. Can't win with them. Can't win anything with them. Can't win nothing with them. Same for Cam Ward. Whatever you think about Cam Ward, I think it would be crazy to say Tennessee's not going anywhere with him. We have no clue.
The hardest thing to do is when you have a great quarterback is to not be afraid to draft a quarterback. And you see what happens when you go look at, because they take all the reps, and the last thing you want to do is take a quarterback high, Ocho, and take the quarterback off. So teams skate around it, and the next thing you know, the guy died. He rots on the vine. He leaves. Now what do you got? They never got an adequate replacement for Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Say what you want about Coach Belichick, but Coach Belichick was trying to predict, he was trying to get ready for the future. He was trying to have the bridge. Now he started to build a bridge too soon.
What team does that? The Packers are the only team that, the 49ers, I guess, with Steve Young, but it's like the Brees thing, okay? Mahomes is there in 2017, all right? Brees, the Saints, probably what I think is the best Saints team of all time is that 2018 Saints team that lost in the NFC title game. The reason you don't take a quarterback in that spot is because you're good. I mean, the Saints had the 11th pick. They are trying to win. They are trying. This is how it happens. And this is what the Patriots did. This is why they messed up. And you could argue this is where the Packers, why they did it right. With the Saints and the Patriots, they're thinking, we are trying to win now. Why would we waste a top whatever pick on a player who's not going to play for 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe the majority of his contract, his rookie contract? Why wouldn't we get someone who can start, help this team out, and we can win a Super Bowl? So what they do is they say, well, we're in the 3rd round now. We're in the 4th round. We'll take a quarterback here. And that's how you end up with, who the hell ever the Patriots had, who the hell ever the Colts had the entire time Peyton was there, and whoever the hell the Saints had with the Garrett Graysons and the Ian Books of the world. Because it's like, we're not really wasting a pick, but we're just going to draft this guy. Now, the Packers took Rodgers in the 1st, which pissed off Brett Favre. And then they take Jordan Love in the 1st, which pissed off Rodgers. But that might be the way to do it, where you waste that first round pick. Now they were towards the back half of the first round. It wasn't a top 10 pick like the Saints and the Patrick Mahomes situation, but that's just one of those things that does not happen. And you can look at the Patriots after Tom Brady. Oh, nightmare scenario trying to replace him. And Drake May, we'll see what happens, whatever, or too early to tell, but it ain't easy to replace Hall of Fame level players like that and quarterbacks like that. Very difficult to do.
Mm-hmm. But look at Peyton Manning. They didn't have a thing. Right. He gets hurt. They go 2-14. Now, perfect thing happened. Perfect storm. Guess what? Andrew Luck's coming out.
But same thing with Peyton. Who was his backup? Curtis Painter. They weren't planning on anything in Denver. Brock Osweiler sucked. Like, they weren't doing it with Peyton. And then the Andrew Luck thing. I say this all the time. Andrew Luck gets a pass for not doing much when he was in Indy. And he was fine, but you would think he won multiple AFC title games. You would think he won multiple playoff games with the way people talk about him, taking over for Peyton.
Mm-hmm. Now, it'd have been great if Luck could have stayed healthy. Well, they had skill position players, but they couldn't protect him, and he didn't do a good enough job protecting himself because he took some shots he shouldn't have taken. Sometimes you can protect yourself. You got to protect yourself. They need to do a better job of giving him an offensive line, Ocho, but he needed to do a better job of protecting himself once he got past the offensive line. Slide down, run out of bounds. You can't play hero ball against those guys to break you. And so, and that's the hard thing because, we saw what happened when Green Bay took Aaron Rodgers. It ticked off Brett Favre. When Green Bay took Jordan Love, it ticked off Aaron Rodgers. So you walking a real tightrope, Ocho. Like, I know I'm going to make him mad, but I can make him mad and have another 10, 12 years of prosperity once he leaves.
But you also got to get it right. I mean, those are the situations where they got it right, fine. But you can draft somebody and they just not be very good. And then you kind of really screw yourself over because you wasted a draft pick, you wasted all this time, you ticked off your starting quarterback, all for what?
Or I can keep him happy, and when he leave, I'll be in the trash bin for a decade.
And there are two teams that are struggling in that area right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers did it with Big Ben. Obviously, the Saints didn't have anyone once Drew Brees decided to hang it up.
But the Steelers, good example of getting it wrong. They did take a first-round quarterback. They took Kenny Pickett. They tried to do some stuff. It just didn't work. He just wasn't good enough. It was what it was. It's not as easy. It's not as easy as just take a quarterback here, you're good to go. The idea that you take a quarterback, you're fine, or you're set for 10 years, or you're set for 5 years, or whatever. Like I said with Mac Jones, they thought that was the guy. They thought, okay, we nailed it, knocked it out of the park, and then he just falls apart. It's very, very hard to do, to get that right, and it's kind of just a lottery.
You're right. So that's a fine line that teams walk, and I don't envy that having to make those tough decisions. Ocho, the Texans trade John Mechie III to the Eagles.
Okay, that was it. Yeah, I mean. That's more of a. I thought they were going to really get into the Drew Brees thing. That's more of just a clickbait title, but yeah, I don't think the situation with the Saints is well documented. Brees retires, Peyton sticks around for a year. Peyton thinks I can make wine out of water. I can make Jameis Winston work. I can make Taysom Hill work. I can make whoever work. Doesn't matter. Teddy Bridgewater. Doesn't matter to me. I can do whatever I am. I'm this, I'm that. Then Peyton leaves. There's some injuries with Jameis, whatever. Then you have to go. It's all a disaster. Then Peyton leaves. Within 2 years, you lose your Hall of Fame greatest quarterback in the franchise's history, and you leave the offensive guy who has completely built the infrastructure of the offense for 20 years. Or 15 years at that point. And who do you replace them with? Dennis Allen is your new head coach, defensive guy. Pete Carmichael, who we learned now was just a stooge, and your quarterback, you're trying to run it back with Jameis. So you have these enormous offensive gaps, just philosophical gaps, vision, whatever, and you do not replace them. What the Saints should have done then was replace Peyton with whoever you think is the new Sean Payton. You have to go get an offensive guy. Get someone with a new vision. Dennis Allen certainly isn't going to be that guy offensively, and Pete Carmichael certainly wasn't that guy offensively. So you have to go get whoever, Matt LaFleur or Kyle Shanahan or Sean, go find the next coordinator, the next Sean Payton to fill that gap. That was the big problem. And then Jameis gets hurt again. So now you're 2 years in flux, whether it's Dalton or Simeon or Winston or whoever, right? And now you're in this what do we do? So what do the Saints do? The Saints say, all right, we got to have some kind of consistency at quarterback. So what do? They could get Derek Carr. And it almost worked. If Derek Carr doesn't get hurt in Green Bay, the Saints probably win 10 games in the division. And then what? Is Dennis Allen still the head coach? Who the hell knows? Right? But the problem wasn't Brees. The problem was Brees and Peyton leaving and it taking them 5 years, aka now, to address the giant hole in the offensive philosophy. And it's kind of funny, but New England kind of did the same thing where Brady leaves. What do? They try and it's like Cam Newton. They're trying to figure things out quarterback wise. Then they get Mac Jones. Gerard Mayo's the coach. Belichick stuck around a little longer than Peyton, but when Belichick leaves, Gerard Mayo's all of a sudden the coach. It's like, he's not. Gerard Mayo's not fixing the hole. What's the hole in New England when Belichick leaves? The culture, the identity, the infrastructure. Gerard Mayo's not that guy. Who is that guy? Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel's the perfect guy to come in and fix that. Mike Vrabel is a culture setter, identity setter. If Minnesota, if Kevin O'Connell left, if he just retired, if Kevin O'Connell retired, the worst thing Minnesota could do is make Brian Flores the head coach because Brian Flores is a defensive guy. So now you haven't addressed this giant hole in Kevin O'Connell leaving. Kevin O'Connell's an offensive genius. You have to replace that with an offensive genius. You can't just say, okay, O'Connell's gone, but we'll just make Flores the coach now. Okay, well, you still haven't fixed the offense. Making Allen the head coach was whatever. That I understand that 100%. The problem was Carmichael being OC. They should have saw what was going on with Carmichael, got him out of there, and then bring in whoever the next OC was. That was the problem there. It wasn't Brees. But anytime a team, the Patriots are in the exact same situation. They are the perfect example of what this is like for a team. When you lose a coach and a quarterback that are as impactful and important to a franchise as Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Bill Belichick, Sean Payton, it takes a second for the entire organization to just figure out what the hell's going on. Like for them just to sit back and figure out, all right, what direction are we going to go in? What is the vision? How are we going to attack this thing? Everything from the logistics of game day to what is being said to the players, to practice, to the draft, to what players you're trying to get, all that's gone, right? Once Sean Payton left, all of that was gone. So all of a sudden now, Sean Payton, he was the guy who was trying to figure out who he wanted on his roster. He was the guy looking at tape, identifying players. All of a sudden, it's Pete Carmichael and Dennis Allen. That alone shows you such a difference in just, hey, who are we going to try and target in the draft? The people that Sean Payton's looking at, very different than who Pete Carmichael and Dennis Allen are looking at. So it takes a couple of years. And it's kind of wild. It hasn't been that long. I give the Saints a lot of credit for seeing what was going on in the first couple of years, trying to change something with Carr, saying, okay, we know what the issue is. We can't can't have a Rolodex of quarterbacks. Let's go get Carr. Didn't work out. It is what it is. They took a shot, right? So this Kellen Moore thing, and that's why I keep harking on how important it is that this is the first attempt at that new vision, new philosophy, new identity, whatever. this is the first real go at this thing. This is the first real step, similarly to the Patriots. The Patriots with Mike Vrabel, this is the first real, true step away from the Belichick era. Kellen Moore and the Saints, this is the first real, true step away from the Sean Payton era. And hopefully it goes well. But it's hard, man. It is really difficult to lose that much of, it's the captain of the ship. It's the captain of the ship. And it's just like a restaurant. Like if the French Laundry, it's a little different now. Thomas Keller's kind of insulated that whole thing. But if the French Laundry are La Bernardine and if they lost Eric Repair, then it's like, yeah, you can find a chef, but how similar are they? Is the menu going to be different? What's the vibe in the kitchen going to be like? What's the identity of the restaurant? How do they approach things? What's their business acumen like? There's so much that goes into that. It wouldn't be crazy if Thomas Keller leaves a restaurant and it takes a little bit for that restaurant to figure things out. It's not Thomas Keller's fault, right? It's not Drew Brees' fault. It's not Sean Payton's fault. It just takes a second for the franchise. So I'm excited for this. I think Kellen Moore is the guy. If we had a magic time machine, the answer, as crazy as it sounds, the answer isn't drafting Patrick Mahomes. The answer is, okay, Sean Payton leaves, go find an offensive coordinator to take over. Because Patrick Mahomes, he's not playing in 2018. He's not playing in 2017. Drew Brees in 2019, it's crazy to think about all this stuff. In 2018, Brees and the Saints are at the absolute apex. Best team in Saints history, best team in the NFL, should have went to the Super Bowl. You certainly aren't benching Drew Brees after that, right? Maybe when Brees, but even the Brady Buccaneers game, the playoff lost in New Orleans, they probably should have won that game. If it wasn't for a freak fumble, they probably win that game. Look at this, okay? 2017, all right, so you're talking about drafting Mahomes here. Kamara's your rookie of the year. This is a huge swing. This is a huge change. Brees is obviously not getting benched anywhere around here. So let's just say you have Mahomes. Well, this team, 2018, is the best team in Saints history. Go to the NFC Championship game, should have won it 13-3. You're hosting the NFC title game. You're not benching Brees after this. The next year, you're 13-3 again. You're on a 26-6 run. Oh, and you have the Offensive Player of the Year, Michael Thomas. You going to bench Brees after this? No. Then the next year, you're 12-4. Now, this is where Brees was obviously banged up, obviously hurt towards the end there. He had the broken ribs. He had all the problems. Here, it's like, okay, maybe, right? Maybe in the middle of the year, maybe you turn to Mahomes or Jackson or whoever you end up drafting. But at this point, this is Mahomes. He'd be sitting for this is his fourth year. He's in the fourth year. You think Patrick Mahomes is going to sit for 4 years? So, the revisionist history of oh yeah, you should have taken Mahomes here. I just don't think it makes any sense. The run the Saints go on in 18, 19, 20, it's just, I don't see where he gets on the field. And it's just one of those things where you never really see it coming, but you go 13-3, 13-3, 12-4, and you could have easily went to the NFC title game in 2020. Again, should have won that game against the Bucks. But this is one. Every single time I hear it, I'm always like, I just had a commenter say we should have started the rebuild in 2018. You talk about revisionist history. You should have started the rebuild here. What? It's the best team in the league. That would be like saying the Eagles should start a rebuild right now. Yeah, the Chiefs should probably rebuild. What? They were in the Super Bowl last year. It's like, what do you mean? You don't start the rebuild here? Maybe if you decide to start the rebuild in 2016, I guess, but after 3 consecutive, or 2017, if you say, nope, go 7-9, 7-9, 7-9, but then you probably fire Sean Payton. Like here, this is where you could have done it because this is rough. Like you go, 7-9, 4 out of 5 years. Then maybe here you say, all right, firing Peyton, getting rid of Brees. But then it's like, okay, I mean, who knows how that would have gone? But that obviously would have been wrong because then you don't have this stretch, which was the best stretch. So it's always it's tough to go back and do all that. But I absolutely would not place the blame on Brees. And even this, right? Brees leaves. They go 9-8. Okay, 7-10. Peyton leaves. Like, damn, a lot's happened. 7-10. You get Carr, try and figure things out. 9-8. You go from 7-10 to 9-8. You're thinking if you're the front office, all right, we've righted the ship. We got things turned around. Okay, we're 9-8. We could have easily won the division. We tied for the division. We lost on a tiebreaker to get second. Like, all right. Remember, the Atlanta Falcons haven't had a winning season since 2017. So you're 9-8. You're thinking, get everybody healthy, make another run at it, try and win the South. All hell breaks loose, injuries, fire Dennis Allen, Derek Carr retires, whatever. So, I mean, when you look at it in this lens, the fact that 2020, you've got Sean Payton and Drew Brees, you're hosting a playoff game against Tom Brady, and it takes 4 years, 2 of those years are winning seasons. It takes 4 years to where new quarter, all the newness on this team, new head coach. This is a very small blip if Kellen Moore turns this thing around. Could be a lot worse. It's like the Saints they don't have the trophies to show it. They don't have the Super Bowl trophy to show it that last little bit there. But damn, I mean, year in, year out, you are one of the best teams in the NFL. It's hard to imagine they would have benched Brees. And so looking back, it's like, yeah, it's crazy to say you probably pass on Mahomes or pass on Lamar Jackson or whatever, but I don't think they ever play. Like, I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is more the Sean Payton thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get on down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.